Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you are enjoying the Olympics, our live coverage on WTHR. Joining you here digitally to talk about some storm chances that are likely to increase over the next few hours. Time now just after 9:15 in the morning, and we continue to track a line, really a cluster of showers and thunderstorms that have really held together as they've tracked through central Illinois. No active watches or warnings associated with this as it moves through Champaign. But there is a potential we could see some strong wind gusts, also some very heavy rainfall as this approaches central Indiana. So I wanted to get you updated on not just this line of storms, but a secondary round of storms that will have a higher risk of becoming severe. But that's not going to happen until after 5 o'clock tonight. So first things first, here's your radar. Noticing within this very heavy downpours as well as some lightning that's starting to become a little more widespread as the leading edge of that line makes its way closer to that Illinois-Indiana border. Again, this is moving off to the east, so it will, if it does hold together as it is now, and we are forecasting that to be the case, it will impact parts of central Indiana over the remaining morning hours and then into the early afternoon. Here's how this whole complex has evolved over the past 6 hours, noticing pretty widespread and impactful coming out of Iowa. As it's tracked through Illinois, it has weakened and become more widespread, but weaker, but still heading in our direction. So over the next few hours, we are watching this move into the state, and that's going to be round one of 2 rounds of storms we are anticipating today. Very warm, very humid today despite these storms. Looks like most of us will recover after this morning round back into the mid-80s for highs, and then that secondary round of storms pops up. We will watch the atmosphere and see how it recovers after this first round of storms moves through. But at this point, all forecast models pointing to that second round still being a little bit more impactful. So because of that, the Storm Prediction Center has now the Indianapolis metro and then across the southwestern tier of the state under this yellow highlight, which is a level 2 of 5 for that risk of scattered or slightly more widespread strong to severe storms. The green zone, an isolated severe threat. That's for really the rest of the state. So here's what you need to be on the lookout for and how the weather and these storms will impact you today. From a timeline standpoint, that second round pops up mainly after 5 p.m. will continue through the evening. In fact, I anticipate this becoming more widespread as the evening plays on and then eventually pushing south out of the area in the latest by about 2 o'clock in the morning, early Tuesday. I think here in the Indy Metro, we're going to be severe clear by about midnight. Primary threat will be damaging wind gusts. Cannot rule out, though, the potential of hail as well as some isolated rotating storms. So as we prepare for this later tonight, make sure you've got multiple ways to receive warnings. Download the 13 weather app. And if you do have outdoor plans this evening, I want you to have a plan B in place because it does look like storms are set to impact most of the state. So let's break down the latest timeline on all this. We'll pick it up within the next hours. That initial line moves into the Indy Metro. This takes us between about now and 12:30. So into the early afternoon, kind of around your lunch hour. That first wave will eventually fall apart. We will see more dry time. The atmosphere will start to recover. By 5 o'clock, more storms start to initiate, and then we see them becoming more widespread. Tapping into that atmospheric energy, storms continue to develop through the evening. This is around 7:30. Notice by 10, still anticipating coverage area becoming more widespread. Now it's into that zone I was talking about, that southwestern tier of the state, places like Bloomington down to potentially Columbus and Seymour. That's where we have that highest damaging wind gust threat. After 10 p.m., that will continue to shift to the south. So again, really thinking after midnight, the Indy Metro looks good. We'll hang on a little longer for our southernmost counties before all of that clears out during the overnight, setting us up for a dry start to the day tomorrow. And that's important because we've got Colts Camp that's going to be tomorrow morning, opens up around 9 o'clock. Not going to potentially rule out another round of some isolated storms for your Tuesday, but it does look like we're going to have a lot more dry time tomorrow compared to today. The Storm Prediction Center, though, already issuing a level 1. That's a marginal risk. 1 of 5 for that potential of an isolated stronger storm. Here's the latest timeline for storms on Tuesday. We'll pick it up in the morning, fast forward through about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice that storm cluster then moving in as we get closer to that evening rush, but that's quickly going to move out. Not going to be long lived. And then into Wednesday morning, once again, a low wind threat of severe weather with some scattered storms that will likely move through during the first part of the day on Wednesday. So that's that storm risk, relatively lower for Tuesday and Wednesday, but still potentially impacting outdoor plans. To go along with this, especially Tuesday into Wednesday and even into Thursday, the high heat and the humidity will become an issue. We're talking heat indices approaching that 100-degree mark, even in some spots through Thursday could approach 110. This is your forecast for the Indy Metro for your peak heat index over the next 7 days. Eventually, as we get into Friday and then into the weekend, we will see this pattern changing up a little bit, bringing in some slightly drier air. So those heat indices, that muggy meter, will drop a bit by later this week. But we've got to get through a stretch of some pretty high heat and humidity, as well as a very active pattern with those daily shower and storm chances at least through then. 84 stormy at times today. We talked about those 2 rounds that could impact you. And then stray storms pop up late in the afternoon during the peak heating hours on Tuesday. 90 your high there. Heat index climbs to near 100. 90 your high again on Wednesday. We're up to 93 on Thursday. Feeling though more like 105 with some stray storms on Thursday. This pattern changes up. We will be more seasonal. 86 on Friday. And then we'll be in the mid 80s as we head into the weekend. Just a reminder that our 4 o'clock show will be digital as well. Angela Buckman will be in with you all the way through the afternoon, and then we'll see you back at 6 on WTHR for our newscast then. We're back to that live Olympic coverage starting later this evening. Take care.